Where your attention goes, your energy flows. It was something that a past mentor of mine had said to me, and it's something that always stuck with me. I think he actually said, "Where your focus goes, your energy flows." And it's a cliche, but I find myself reverting back to this understanding, and I think it speaks to so many things. Um, Many people say that time is the currency of life, and I think time is the vehicle of life that we understand, and truly for us, like the real currency is our attention, um, because wherever we put our attention, that's where our life force is focused on. That's what our life force is going to be breathing into. And I think this is a really important thing to distinguish when we look at things like, you know, depression and anxiety versus, moving forward and creating something more beautiful in our life. When we put our attention on the past, and we try to rectify a problem that we have gone through, or a challenge that we faced by putting our attention on something in the past, right? That's going to bring our life force into that past trauma or challenge, and that's where we can start ruminating, right? Because we start getting really wrapped up in what happened to us, and this can really run havoc on our mindset. Um, and on the flip side, if we're constantly putting our attention into the potentialities of the future and trying to determine what the outcomes are going to be, this is truly a fool's errand when we're trying to predict what is going to happen moving forward based on our current situation. And I'm not saying it's not smart to plan ahead, and there's a time and a place, but it becomes a hurtful practice if we're doing it without awareness, right? And I don't believe we intentionally put our attention and our awareness into the past or the future. That's something that's a pull for us, right? And when we put our attention into the past or the future, we actually become asleep, right? We are no longer awake to what is the present moment, and that's why there's so much power in this saying, where your attention goes, your energy flows, because when we can bring our attention and our awareness into the present moment, that's when we really wake up. When we can bring our attention and our awareness into our bodies and the environment that we're in, it allows us to become more grounded and centered in what's true, which is the present moment. And that's the only thing that we're ever going to have an experience of. And it's from this place of presence, and it's from this point of aliveness and awakeness that we can start to be intentional with our life and what we want to build. People always think of mindfulness as like this passive state where, there's a monk in a mountain or sitting on a rock in a jungle beside a stream, just meditating day in and day out. And while meditation is a practice for mindfulness, and a beautiful one at that, mindfulness is truly, and it's an active state that brings us into the present moment. And it's from this place of mindfulness and attention in the present moment that we can start to be intentional with our time and how we're going to spend it. Because when we're intentional with our time and how we're going to spend it, we can really focus in on, hey, what is truly important for us? What do we want to create in this world? Where do we want to put our time and attention? Because where we put our attention, we're going to breathe our life force into this area of our life, and that's going to start to grow and develop. And it's like when we go to the gym or we go do runs, the more we go to the gym, the lighter the weight feels, right? The more weight you can carry, the easier the runs get, the further you can run. And that practice of mindfulness is the same, but it's for our mental states, because we're taking the decision fatigue out of being present and waking up to the current moment and what's in front of us and what's available to us right now. It allows us to be creative. It allows us to be productive. It allows us to move towards the things that we want in our life, whether it's goals or intentions, what have you. Because when we're in that active state of being present, because our attention is focused, we can start to create in front of us the intentions that we have for our life. But then we get to move, okay, now we know what we want. Now we can actually physically take the actions that we need to bring those things into our life. And the more we act in that current state, in that current awake state, the more momentum we get, the more movement we get in our life. And that's going to move us further along the path that we've intentionally created for ourselves. And we're putting our time and our energy into creation versus, anticipation of what could happen or dwelling on what has happened. And we're actually moving the needle in the direction that we want, because we are being actively engaged in our own life. So I think, just to wrap this up for myself, when I am more intentional and when I bring presence into my daily life, into my habits and rituals, my work life, time with people that I love, when my presence is there, I feel more fulfilled. The experience is more expansive for me because I'm really there. I'm not just floating through. And I'm sure you can all relate to the experience of being in a conversation with someone or doing something at work, and you sort of just, you're doing the thing, but you're not really present. You're not aware. It's not captured. We're not learning anything. We're probably ruminating about the past or the future when there's life happening right in front of us. And so, this allows us to be fully in our experience of life, because where we put our attention, the true currency of life, that's where we get to grow and develop, and we get to put our life force into. So, just something I've been thinking about and wanted to articulate for myself. And hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that had some value for you. So thanks so much for listening.